Good morning. It's currently 6:19 a.m. on Tuesday, March 10th, 2015. I'm Christiana Ellis and I just got up. This is 5 more minutes. My body is currently doing the Am I Coming Down with Something dance that's pretty typical of the few days following a big convention. Con crud, of course, is a real phenomenon. You put that many people in that close a space for several days. It's excellent transmission opportunities of all sorts of things, especially given the stereotype, which applies not to everyone, of course, but to certain selected few. The stereotype of the geek convention goer with poor hygiene. I have to say I noticed a few of them even on the first day, which is a little bit disconcerting. It's like, clearly this is just how the person is all the time, not just after 3 days of gaming. Anyway, what was I going to talk about today? I'm blanking. Oh, right. Well, so just as far as how I'm feeling, it's definitely, like moderately congested, a little bit fatigued, that sort of thing, a little bit achy, but maybe that's just from walking around and standing in line for hours and hours. And yeah, so I think I'm doing okay, but it is also possible that this is just the clouds on the horizon for an upcoming body storm. Body storm. That sounds like it ought to be an action movie. What I was going to talk about today is that I'm currently halfway through the audiobook of Lock In by John Scalzi. And ordinarily I wouldn't get into like reviewing a book when I'm only halfway through it. But I have enjoyed the first half so much that I think it unlikely that I will change my opinion after listening to the second half. If that happens, I'll let you know. Probably I will let you know at least briefly, even if just to confirm that I liked the second half as much as the first. But I really like it. I've read some of John Scalzi's other work, some of like short stories, I think. I can't think of any at the moment, but certainly I read Red Shirts, which I enjoyed quite a bit. Although that one, I think, that particular book, I feel like it had such a great premise, but then it got a little bit too weird and meta for its own good towards the end. It was, weird and experimental, which I applaud, but also not as effective as a story as a result. The structure of that story is weird, but such great ideas in it, and the actual writing is very good. And so this one, I feel like, at least so far, is not likely to get all meta and structurally weird. Instead, it's a more or less straightforward murder mystery conspiracy story in structure, but in taking place in a really interesting setting. So it's the future, so science fiction, but the premise is that a big flu epidemic left a whole, killed a whole lot of people, but then also gave a lot of people, like millions of people, a phenomenon known as lock-in, where basically it completely disrupts the brain's ability to communicate with the voluntary nervous system and makes some other changes in the brain, but more or less the result is that you have someone who is still conscious, can still think, can still feel what's happening to their body, but cannot initiate any voluntary movement at all. Their body will continue to breathe and beat its heart and so on, but they can't move their arms, their legs, they can't even move their eyes around, nothing. pretty terrifying, right? But so the idea is that this is such a horrifying thing, and that it happens to the first lady in the history of this story. Oh wow, I'm already at 5 minutes. So to just finish the premise part is that they've developed a technology that allows two ways for people who are locked in to interact with the world. One is through a like as in C3PO, which is basically like a robot body that they remote control. They have neural network implanted in their brain, so their physical body still can't move at all, but they can control the robot body. And then also there's integrators, which is people who had like a less severe form of the disease who can still move around, but it made certain changes in their body so that they can almost act like a three. You know, you can have a person who's locked in sort of temporarily inhabit the body and control of the integrator. Although, at least as presented in the story so far, the integrator can always kind of step back over, and like they're the one with like it's like those teachers ed, driver's ed teachers' cars where they have their own steering wheel and their own pedals. You know, it's like at any time they can take back over and override, but it allows the locked-in person to have a more traditional body feeling. Anyway, so I'm already long, so I'll just finish by saying it is good enough that I feel like I'm enthusiastically wanting to talk about it even halfway through. So, all right, so that'll do it for today then. Remember, you can find all my stuff at christianaellis.com. I didn't manage to get the audio of the Oscar show posted yet, but I will try to do that. I'll try to do that tonight. All right. I'll talk to you tomorrow for 5 more minutes.